Hi, my friends. So let's take a little recap of what we know so far in the Deadly Dungeon. So, Dink, Josh, and Ruth Rose are sleeping at a castle, and I don't know if a lot of you have read the first A to Z mystery, but the first A to Z mystery the is the absent author, and in that book they met someone called Wallace Wallace, who was an author who had gone missing, and it's a really good one, and I recommend it if you haven't read it yet. So they became friends with Wallace Wallace, and now they're staying at her castle. But in the castle, there was a ghost who tends to scream. So the one day, Dink, Josh, and Ruth Rose, we just read, wanted to go into a cave that was in the area where the castle is. And they are they were in there, and the water was getting higher and it was getting darker, and all of a sudden Ruth Rose yelled run, and bats flew over their head and they heard a scream. So let's see what happens. Chapter 5. The kids didn't stop running till they were at the top of the cliff. Dink threw himself on the ground, trying to catch his breath. What was that? Ruth Rose asked, pulling off her stopping sneakers. My heart nearly stopped. It was the ghost, Josh said. I bet that cave leads to a secret dungeon under the castle. Maybe that's where Emery Scott died. Ruth Rose burst out laughing. Josh ignored her. There must be a secret door leading to the dungeon somewhere, and I'm going to find it. Maybe you are, Dink said, but I'm going to take a shower and change. Me too, Ruth Rose said. I smell like fish. When they got back to the castle, Walker's Jeep was parked out front. The kids cleaned up, then hurried down to the kitchen. Wallace, Walker, and Rip were sitting at the long table, husking ears of corn. Hi, kids, Walker said. How was your first day at Moose Manor? It was great, Josh said, shooting Dink a look. We explored the playhouse and found some neat stuff on the beach. Dink figured Josh wanted to keep his secret dungeon idea to himself. Well, I have lobsters to cook, Wallace said. I hope everyone's hungry. After supper, the grown-ups decided to play Scrabble. You kids can join us, Wallace said, or you can choose another board game from the hall closet. Help yourself. I think I'll go upstairs and read, Josh said. He motioned for Dink and Ruth Rose to follow him. They met upstairs in the hall between the bedrooms. Let's search up here while they're playing Scrabble, he said. What exactly are we looking for? Dink asked. A secret door or passageway, Josh said, rapping his knuckle against lightly on a wall. Josh, don't you think Wallace would have told us about a secret door? Ruth Rose said. Maybe she doesn't know about it, Josh said. I guess we should look around, Dink agreed. Something is making those weird noises. Let's start on the roof, Ruth Rose said. They walked down the hall, and Josh pushed open the narrow door. At the top of the stairs, they opened another door. A cool breeze blew in their faces as they stepped onto the flat roof. Wow, you can see everything, said Josh. It would be neat to fly a kite up here. Dink stood between two granite battlements that were taller than he was. He felt like a king looking over his land. There's nothing up here, Josh said. Okay, Dink said. Let's look downstairs. The kids tromped back down to the hall. Ruth Rose walked into her room while Dink and Josh searched theirs. Dink started with the closet, but found only dust and an old tennis racket. He used the racket to poke behind the window curtains. A few spiders darted away, but nothing else. Suddenly, Josh screamed from the bathroom. Dink! It's got me! Help! Dink charged into the bathroom holding the tennis racket like a club. He looked around wildly, but the room was empty. Josh, where are you? The shower curtain flew open. Josh stood there grinning. Boo! Dink shook his head. You are so lame, Josh. It would serve you right if some ghost did get you. Josh climbed out of the tub. Thought you didn't believe in ghosts, Dinkus. Dink just shook his head again. He crossed the hall and knocked on Ruth Rose's door. Find anything? He asked. She shook her head. Nope. She and Dink searched the long hall. They looked behind the radiators and inside plant pots and one tall umbrella stand. Josh tapped on the walls, listening for hollow sounds. Finally, they gave up, sweaty and dusty. I don't know where else to search, Dink said. We didn't check out the downstairs rooms, said Josh. We'll have to wait till tomorrow, Ruth Rose said, yawning. I'm going to bed, and I hope I don't dream about ghosts thanks to Josh Pinto. Josh grinned. I read somewhere that ghosts eat girls with girls. Josh, let one try, she said, then slammed the door. Dink and Josh climbed into bed. A few minutes later, they were both asleep. Dink woke suddenly, his heart thumping. He looked at the clock. It was midnight. Dink climbed out of bed and tiptoed to the window. He saw black trees against the blacker sky. Then he saw it, a ghostly light near the playhouse.